they say Ironmans are sort of 50% physical challenge, but 50% mental, and that is it. And that's the element I love most. I think it's the pushing yourself on and making yourself do stuff when many people would probably find the quit button and not go.
Good stuff. Welcome back, Matt. I'm Matt Davies, first guest of the One Life podcast, the very first One Life podcast, and I couldn't have a better guest on to come on first. Matt, how are you doing? Where are you? Tell us all about it.
Well, yeah, firstly, thank you very much for saying you couldn't have a better guest for your first podcast. Yeah, life's grand. I'm dialing in from a beach bar on one of the beaches in Sotogrande, or Chiringuito as they're known locally. And this is life nowadays. This is where I try and base myself to do when I'm doing any work. Is be in an environment like this rather than stuck behind four walls behind a desk.
This is the new desk, is it?
Absolutely, that's the goal.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Matt. So you've had a big change. We did a podcast, I think. A couple of years ago when we were doing the Disruptors Club. You in corporate world, you were thinking about breaking out. We talked about it a lot of the time. Tell us in a nutshell the journey from there to now, and what you're doing, who you serve, and what does the business look like. Give us the beans, mate. Give us the One Life beans.
Yeah, well, yes, you're absolutely right. I think it was possibly even prior to lockdown, or round about when lockdown first happened, the last podcast. And yes, I was working in the corporate world. I'd climbed that corporate ladder. I'd made my way up to director and running a business in the finance world. I'd had this dream of stepping out and doing fitness coaching and other forms of coaching, and had never quite had the courage. So a few things had happened. A few things had changed in my life that enabled me to do it, and also just got to a point where I decided if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So finally, after sort of probably 3 years of talking about it, I finally built up the courage to jump ship. And now, yeah, I'm a fitness coach. I do online fitness coaching. I specialize in looking after clients like me, so people who are perhaps a bit stressed, a bit sort of stuck in the corporate world, find it difficult to find the time, find it difficult to find the energy sometimes to go off and do some of the crazy things that I do. So I've been there, I've done it. I've gone from being sort of middle-aged, a little bit chubby around the middle, typical corporate executive lifestyle of eating poor food and not really exercising very much, to now doing Ironman triathlons, ultra marathons, and basically anything. The crazier you can find, the more likely I am to sign up and go and do it. And I love helping others do something similar. They don't need to be quite as extreme as some of them do. I think we were joking yesterday. My next race is 168 kilometers of running, so not everyone's going to go and do that, but a half marathon or a marathon is a pretty extreme challenge for 99.9%. Sorry, fly in my face.
Yeah, probably as well. All right.
Yeah, 99% of the population, that's a pretty extreme event, and I specialize in looking after people like that and helping them on that journey.
Cool. Let's just rewind. When you were in that, let me bring up a picture actually of where you were. Bang. So
Yeah.
that's Big Matt. We both Big Matt.
Yeah,
but one's bigger Matt. When you got that to that point, you went, right, enough is enough. Did you think I'm gonna completely change and do mega endurance events like the crazy stuff that you do, or was it more, I just need to get back in shape? And I think you said to me once you felt like life was draining through your fingers. So just what was the first step? Was it just to get fitter and have a healthier lifestyle, or was the plan always to go extreme?
Yeah, no, it was a gradual creep. It was a very much a realization that something has to change, but it wasn't sort of sign up for an ultra marathon on day one. It was a gradual progression. It was just, I need to take control. I need to get back on track. I think I was probably late 30s on the picture on the my left. And I just thought, if I look like this now, what am I going to look like when I get to 50 or 60? So yeah, initially it was, I think I did a 5K or a 10K race that I just signed up for. And just, at first I couldn't run to the end of the road without stopping. It was terrible. So yeah, it was a gradual progression, but I found the more I got into it, the more I loved it, the more extreme a challenge I was looking for. So yeah, going off and doing a 5K doesn't make you change from picture A to picture B,
Yeah.
but it was the first step in a long journey.
How long did that take, Matt, from where you are, bigger Matt, to super fit Matt? How long was that?
It probably only took a year to get to a
Oh,
point
wow.
where by most people's standards I would have looked very very different. It's probably taken another 3 years on top of that to go from being doing marathons to doing Ironmans and ultra marathons.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I mean, that's amazing. Like just a year to that. That's a huge transformation. But it just goes to show it can be done. So, what 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 would old Matt say to new Matt now?
I don't think he just wouldn't have believed it. He wouldn't have
No.
believed it was possible. Wouldn't I had all the same misconceptions that most of the clients I speak to have in that I don't have the time. I can't fit it in around my busy life. Um, but I mean, look, you have to be motivated personally, but with the right guidance and a bit of knowledge and education, and more importantly, with someone looking over your shoulder and checking that you're doing what you need to do, then anyone can do it. Absolutely, anyone can do it. But yeah, old Matt wouldn't have believed the picture on the other side of the screen. No.
Do you know what BA is? Well, because we brainstorm a lot of stuff anyway, like we did yesterday and that. But imagine, and there must be a way to do this right with AI or something. Is take a picture of bigger Matt and just slim you down and put a vision of that in front of somebody, and then say, "I'm going to help you get there." That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
that that would be a big selling tool for anyone in the fitness industry to show we've all in the fitness industry everyone puts the before and afters of other clients and people can relate to that, but yeah, being able to do it with a photo of the client or prospective client and say this is what you could achieve would be hugely motivating for that client for sure.
Right, working on that this afternoon. You and I, new
Yeah.
project. It's got to be a way to do it. Cool, good stuff. So we talk about coaching. What are the three main reasons someone needs a coach? Not just for endurance, but to go from bigger Matt to super fit Matt. What are the three reasons that we need a coach? Because I'm coming at it from life coaching, but this is totally different.
I think in my experience it's the same across most forms of coaching. The first one is having a personalized plan. So there's a million and one cookie cutter plans or programs on the internet that you can download free or for very little money, and you can just, if you're going to do a marathon for example, you can just download one of those and follow it, but it doesn't take into account your busy lifestyle, how you're fitting your workouts in. It doesn't take into account if you've had a bad week at work and you're extra stressed this week, or you haven't slept very well this week. They're just they're very blunt tools to achieve probably 90% of what you need to achieve. But a personalised plan, having a coach, you'll have that weekly interaction and you'll adapt and change the plan. So some weeks you'll be feeling super fit and strong, and the coach can turn the dial up. You can see that you're sleeping well, you're resting well, your stress levels are low. So you can turn the dial up a bit that week and do a bit more and get a bit further ahead. And then other weeks there'll be a super busy week at work. You're away with work for a week, for example, or you're going to find it difficult to train. So you plan from a week or two out to make that a bit of a rest week and dial it down. And it's that personalization of getting the best out of you. And that can help reduce injury risk along the way
Yeah,
as well, which is key.
yeah,
Because there's nothing worse than being 2.5 months into a 4 month plan and then you get injured for 3 weeks and then you're almost back to square one. So managing injury risk by being highly personalized is key.
yeah,
The next one is just having the knowledge and experience and encouragement from someone who's been there and done it. It can be quite hard. Some of these plans can be as much as 6 months out, depending on how big a jump you're making from current position to where the goal is. And that's quite hard to keep motivated for 6 months because you don't see a daily change. You don't even often see a weekly change. It's something that you don't really see at all because you're looking at yourself the whole time. But having someone who's been there, been through the lows, the highs, and can encourage you, can spot when you perhaps feel like you're not making much progress and give you encouragement, and just keep you on track is also invaluable. And the last one is simply having that eyes over your shoulder, looking at you and keeping you honest.
yeah, yeah.
accountability for me, accountability is the key, personally, because I've got a lot of the knowledge now. I've done the courses, I've learned to do a lot of this stuff, by trial and error, and by becoming qualified as well. But for me, it's having that eyes over the back, feeling like, oh, if I skip a couple of sessions this week, it's not just me I'm answering to, it's coach gonna want to know why I haven't done it. So that, again, in a long 6 month odd training plan, that's quite valuable for me personally, to know that someone's watching what I'm doing, and making sure I'm staying honest and staying on the plan. With these plans, no one workout is going to make a difference. It's about it's accumulation of workouts. It's being consistent is the key, not suddenly doing one workout that suddenly makes you jump up 5% in fitness levels, or in gains, or whatever it is you're trying to achieve.
Got it. Got it. I mean, do you practice what you preach? Have you got a coach?
Absolutely. So my next, I think I just already mentioned it, my next big challenge is the scariest thing I've done yet. So yeah, I'm using a coach, to help me. As I say, I've got 99.9% of the knowledge I need. Um, but you're always learning from another coach, right? So any coach, I feel like, if they're worth their salt, should perhaps also be having a coach themselves, because you're always learning by speaking to other people. But for me, as I mentioned, the accountability of having a coach means, yesterday morning I got up, it was really hot, I had a 2 hour run to do. If I hadn't got a coach, would I have gone and done it? Maybe I would have been tempted to go and have a swim instead, because it was a lot cooler.
Yeah.
But having a coach, having that accountability of having a coach, means that I went, do you know what, I really need to get out and do the run. So yes, 100%, I'm using a coach at the moment, and hopefully he's going to get me over that finish line 168 kilometers further down the road than the start line.
I mean, it's crap. It's right with anything, isn't it? Say with me, with accountability, with my coaches, I get stuff done, and I'm human. I've got quite a lot of drive, but I get those times where I'm like, I just don't want to do this today, right? But with my coach, it's like, let's get it done. That was very prominent when I learned to fly. That there was a load of guys in the flying room would always keep me honest and keep me accountable, and that's what got me through, to be honest. So we're talking about this crackers event that you're doing, but let's talk about this one here. This, you've got the t-shirt on, Ironman Australia. So
Yes,
talk, this is you doing Ironman Australia, isn't it? I'm going to show you a couple of
it,
images here, but this is you, isn't it?
it is. Yes, yes. So yeah, I went to Oz. I went to Oz this year. I did a little ultra marathon, a sort of a baby one, as part of my training plan. But basically, I was there to stay with friends, and stayed in Oz for about 3 months. The culmination of which was doing this Ironman, and it was something that I'd had on the bucket list for a while, to go that far away and do one. I actually, just after getting there, I broke my foot, so training didn't go any like as well as I would have hoped. So didn't get anywhere near the time target I had in mind. But I loved it. Great race, great atmosphere, brilliant place, and it's another Ironman ticked off. So. Not the time goal that I had in mind, but it was an awesome event. I met some great people along the way, and it's, yeah, another continent with an Ironman ticked off. So I'm working my way around the world and trying to tick them all.
Just talk to me about that, because we looked at you cycling first, then no, we looked at you running first, then cycling, and then swimming. So I probably got them in the
Yeah,
wrong order. But what is the format of Ironman then?
yeah. So it's a triathlon, so it's swim, bike, run. But the swim is
Swim first.
3.8, so generally takes between sort of 45 minutes and an hour and a half for most people, depending on whether you're front or back of the pack. Then it's 180k on the bike. So for me, that was just under 6 hours, but anywhere from sort of 4 hours for the pros up to 8 hours for the guys that are sort of slogging around at the end. Um, and then the run is a full marathon, so you get off that 6 hour bike ride and start your marathon. So um, there was a bit in the second transition where you're getting out of your bike gear and into your run gear. Um, and having broken my foot in the build up and not done the training volume I would have liked, there was a bit when I was sat on my chair thinking, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can start this marathon. So not only did I not know if I could finish it, I wasn't even convinced I could start it. But
Wow.
that's part of the challenge. It's they say Ironmans are sort of 50% physical challenge, but 50% mental, and that is it. And that's the element I love most. I think it's the pushing yourself on and making yourself do stuff, when many people would probably find the quit button and not go on to the next step. So yeah, loved it.
I, I,
Great
I,
race.
let me just look at the important bit. There he is, crossing the line. What
There you
was
go.
that
Yeah.
like? Just take me through that when you just cross that line.
The feeling is pretty insane, right? So Ironman do it really well. They make this finished shoot that you can just about make out, where you come down the red carpet. There's stands either side with people cheering. They've got a guy on a microphone, sort of spots your number and reads off your number and calls out your name and gets the whole crowd chanting your name and stuff. So it's pretty. After, as I say, this was quite a bit slower than I expected it to be, probably by a couple of hours actually. So by then you're pretty whacked physically and mentally. But that sort of 30 seconds where you come down the chute and have literally strangers chanting your name and they shout out, Matt, you are an Iron Man and stuff. So it's a pretty sensational feeling, and it makes
Yeah.
the previous in that case the previous 13 hours of pain very much worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your tribe, isn't it? Going back to what you said earlier, you can go and download any old course off the internet, cookie cutter stuff. But when you've got a coach that's done it and will get you across the line, that's the key, isn't it? That's the key.
Yeah, but if you download one of those plans and everything goes absolutely swimmingly, you don't have any work issues, you don't have any injuries along the way, and everything goes 100% correct, which it never does, by the way, then those plans probably do a reasonable job. But where a coach really adds value is if you have had issues, you have had an injury, you are a bit behind on one of the particular skills, or you're having a niggle with a certain, your knee's hurting, so your coach can sort of work out what that is, maybe in conjunction with you going and seeing a physio, and then design some strength and conditioning to help rebuild or improve the strength in that knee so that the pain starts to go away. So it's those little things that are tweaking along the way that where a coach adds the value.
Yeah.
As I say, if I've never met anyone who's trained for sort of 4 or 6 months for a marathon or something and not had a single issue along the way. But if that happened, then a coach would be slightly less valuable. But it just doesn't in the real world. That just never happens. So the coach is
Yeah.
there to keep finding a way and keep sort of getting around the issues or problems along the way, and getting you with that goal in mind and getting you there. It might not be a straight line to get there, but it'll be getting you there to where you need to be at the right time.
Got it. Got it. So the next question is kind of what's the most, and I'm laughing about this because there's so many of them, right? What's the most outrageous, spontaneous decision you've made since like embracing the one life ethos? We talk about one life as in getting out there, discovering what your dream is, and chasing it down and living that life. So, what is the most outrageous or spontaneous thing you've done since you embraced that? And there's going to be so many.
How long have you got? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
look again. The first thing was walking away from a six-figure salary job with pension and bonuses and stuff. So that's pretty outrageous, I guess, in the first place for a lot of people. Um, but yeah, booking one-way tickets to Oz and just going there for months on end, buying a ginormous van that's really 3 times bigger than it should be, to build and convert into a camper van. I can't get into most car parks, and I can't park in most parking spaces because I went big. But that's kind of part of the one life ethos, right? It's
Absolutely.
grab the bull by the horns and do it all out. And then worry about the consequences later. But yeah, one way flights, just disappearing off on a whim, and yeah, just deciding to embrace the life and just make it happen. If you think about it, and try and plan it and try and make it perfect before you do it, you'll never do it. So just go and do it, and then fight the fires as you go. Is the way I'm trying to live my life now.
Love it, mate. Love it. That is the one life thing. It's like, if I ain't going to kill you, go and do it. Have a go at it because you'll talk yourself out of it every day. So based on that, what is the most, you must have had some hilarious or embarrassing mishaps along the way since you've done that. Give me one or two of those, even one of those. Gives you your best one because that's what it's all about.
One of the most about you referred to me as Iron Matt at the start, actually, and that's quite amusing. So when you did interview me 3 years ago, I think I was training for my first Ironman, and I was just about a month or two away from doing it. And then COVID came along and cancelled the event, and it then cancelled the subsequent event the following year that I also wasn't able to do, and it also cancelled another event that I'd signed up for in the meantime. So, in my group of good pals, running pals, and training pals in Jersey at the time, I adopted this nickname of Iron Matt because I was the only person out there being called Iron Matt on the internet that had never actually done an Ironman. So I got a lot. I got a lot. I trained for the. I mean, I've trained for 3, I think, in a row that never happened because of COVID, and so I was fit as a fiddle and ready to do one and chomping at the bit, but I was getting daily almost grief from my big circle of fitness related buddies for being called Iron Matt without ever having done an Ironman. So that was definitely the most embarrassing one.
But I mean, that I didn't even know that. You never told me that. So that's great. Not so Iron Matt at the time. But so you've got that going on. You've got a lot of challenges from when you begin. You got COVID and all that good stuff. So have you got any like unusual or quirky rituals that keep you motivated as you go along?
Um, I was thinking about this just this morning. Not haven't for keeping me motivated, but one sort of ritual, and it's not a good one, and it's one I'm fighting really hard daily to try and get out of. One ritual I would say that I've got, or a habit, perhaps is a better description, is just still trying to make everything perfect before doing it. I still have a habit of the website or a Instagram post everything I do. I procrastinate and spend far too long thinking about how can I make this absolutely perfect, when actually by the time you post it, the people who are reading it don't have any idea what you had as a picture of perfect in your head. They just see what you've put out there, and it's a habit that I'm really trying to get out of where I overthink and over plan rather than just getting it out there and doing it. Because once it's out there, people don't know what if it looks 80% like what you had in your head, then it's 100% what they were expecting. It's just they don't know what you thought it was going to look like or sound like or how it would read. So yeah, that's a really bad habit, and it's almost become a ritual that I'm fighting very hard to try to change and stop.
It was funny, right? Just a little bit insight for everyone. I hope you don't mind me saying this, Matt. But I got a little text from Matt yesterday. He said, "What are you up to?" Because Jules, the other half, my wife, and the other half of One Life, she's gone off to Jersey for a while. Matt's like, "How's single life, mate? What are you up to this afternoon?" And I'm like, "Why, what are you up to?" And he's like, "Fancy a beer this afternoon?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that sounds all right. We'll meet halfway," because Matt was down the coast a little bit and up here. So we'll meet you down Pablo Nueva. And when I came into the bar, Matt's got his pad out, his corporate pad out, and he's got everything written out beautifully in lines, right? And it's all just like laid out. And he's got this beer next to him. And I'm like, "Matt, it's Sunday afternoon, mate." And it's like, it just looks so neat and perfect. So it's funny what you said about that.
Yeah. Look, 25 years of being in the corporate world where I kind of needed to do that. So I guess it's going to be their habits that are going to take a while to break. But yeah, when I first started this One Life journey, I wasn't aware of how much I did that. So I'm now aware, which is one step towards fixing it. But yes, there are still things I will do like that I guess that will take a long time to break those habits.
Yeah, I think the important message there is it doesn't have to be perfect. It's about getting that message out there and adding value and inspiring, motivating your tribe to come and do this thing. Go back to not so fit Matt. It doesn't really matter about that. It's about helping people get to where they want to be. So we've got to keep that in mind, because I'm the same. I have to get everything really polished. As long as we're delivering real value to our audience, I think that's all that really matters. But you know, with you, then, what would you say has been the hardest thing to learn or to switch to from the corporate life to One Life? We talked initially about leaving the big career, but what's the biggest change you've had to go through?
I guess in a way we've just touched on it, but also it's about just being brave and courageous. In the corporate world, hard and tough as it is, 90% of what you do is following a formula, whereas when you go off on your own, you're having to make it up as you go. So it's trusting, it's learning to trust your gut and trust your instinct, and then do it rather than be following a set formula or plan. And so it's trusting yourself or believing in yourself is the hardest thing. As I say, after donkey's years of being in the, particularly when I was in the more banking side of things, there's a rule for everything, and you have to follow the rule. Um, and it's very formulaic. Whereas now it's very much, well, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but it's having the trust and belief in yourself to just do it. And what's the worst case scenario? If it's a post that gets no interactions, or if it's a video that gets no views on YouTube, then so be it. It's not the end of the world, and it's learning that actually just doing it consistently is a bit like with my training. Just doing it consistently will help, rather than procrastinating and waiting for a rule or a method to follow. Just do it and see what happens.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's one of the reasons when I learned to fly, I was all like, I'm going to learn to fly. I'm going to go and like fly airliners and stuff. And I got my wings, and I was having a great time. Then I'm like, right, I need to get onto the ATPL, which is the big license you get to fly the jets and stuff. And I was chatting to guys, and it was exactly the same thing. They were just so regulated. And I'm like, as nice and kind of cool as it looks flying jets, there was so much regulation. And I stepped away from it and pivoted out of that just because I thought it's so fixed. And consequently, we got, the plane and we did our own thing, and it's that freedom again. So yeah, I totally get what you're saying on that one as well. So with that in mind, how much have you changed in the last year?
I mean, I'm not the finished article in terms of being
Don't
out
we
of
have?
the corporate, but yeah, I'm very different to what I was 12 months ago, and I'm sure in 12 months again I'll be even more so down that track. But yes, I'm I'm now posting videos of races I've done. First of all, I'm editing them myself, which I definitely wouldn't have been able to do a year ago. So I'm learning new skills, and I'm being braver at just posting them, and knowing that they're not quite as as polished as I would like them to be. But rather than spend hour after hour after hour making minute changes, I'm getting better at getting in the habit of just putting it out there. And the more you do it, the better I'll get at it, and those video qualities will improve over time. But they won't improve by spending months and months and months just getting one, trying to make it absolutely spot on. So yeah, I've come a long way, but I'm very aware there's a long way still to go.
Yeah, look, we're all a work in progress, aren't we? Each and every one of us. And it comes back to what you were saying earlier on. It's just having that coach to help you along the way. It's just progressing one step every day, isn't it? That's kind of
Yeah,
where we're coming from. That's how you got there. So
yeah.
again, going from bigger Matt to super fit Matt. What does the one life ethos mean to you?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you got to enjoy the journey. I used to just sign up for this event, and it was all about 100% about the event on the day, and things can go wrong on the day. On particularly in an Ironman, I went past so many people who had a puncture, and I just thought that's just all that work and 6 months or 3 months of training, depending on your base sort of level when you start. And on the day, it could all go wrong. So if all of your enjoyment comes from the day itself, it's 100% or 0%. It's a very on or off whether you're going to enjoy the whole process. Whereas now I've got much better at trying to enjoy the journey. And actually, if I'd had smashed a really great 3 months training and got some PBs in training and stuff, and then something had gone wrong on the race day, then I would have been. I'm now much more able to accept that, take it on the chin, and go. Actually, I've enjoyed the last 3 months. I've not just put all my eggs into one basket of that one thing. And it's the same with business. With the business journey, ultimately, eventually, I'll have so many coaching clients. I'm too full, and I can't take on anymore, and I'll be earning more than enough money and all the rest of it. But that may or may not ever happen. If my enjoyment from changing from corporate world to this life is dependent solely on that one event happening and that one day when I think this is it, I've got here, it might never come. Whereas actually, if I enjoy the journey of the whole journey of learning and changing and evolving along the way, then I'm already winning, right? So yeah, that's the big difference.
Totally love it, mate. Let me throw this one at you. So we look.
Go on,
So
your curveball question. Go
yeah,
on.
it is right. So we when we come out, we do this one live thing, right? We go right. I want to go and chase my dreams. I'm going to chase it, and I'm going to make it happen, right? But we still got to pay the bills, right? We've got to make some money doing what we're doing. There could be a bit of pressure there. So let me throw this one at you. Go back to corporate life for another 10 years with the guarantee of winning the lottery at the end, right? Guarantee, big lottery win, or carry on doing what you're doing.
Look, it's tempting. Probably if you asked me a year ago, I might have gone, oh, actually, that's quite tempting when I was just about to make the move. But undoubtedly now, no, carry on doing what I'm doing. And there's two reasons for that. One, just because one thing I've realised in the last few months in particular, just because I've stepped out of corporate world in terms of having a full employed contract and working full time and stuff, is that I've built up 25 years of experience and knowledge and contacts and stuff in the corporate world. It doesn't mean I can't use that and earn a bit of money doing sort of some contracting work along the way, or some consulting work, or a NED position or something. So I'm not going to. Before, I was very keen to tear that up and never look at another instance of working in the finance world again. And now I realise that that's perhaps is a little bit cutting your nose off to spite your face. So I wouldn't ever rule out doing some work in that field, but it will be on my terms now, not on employed terms. But the other thing is also, money is great. Obviously, it's great. We all need some money. You can't really live with no money at all. You can, but it's not so easy. Um, but those experiences, I think I said to you yesterday when we were having a beer, Andy, I went to Oz and probably spent more money than I should have done. But I was there and driving up the coast, hired a camper van, drove the whole East Coast, 4,000 kilometres in total I did driving up the coast. I went to Byron Bay, I went to Noosa, I went to Brisbane, amazed me. Cairns was awesome. Spent some time in the rainforest up at Daintree. Money doesn't matter how many pounds I've got in the bank. It doesn't buy you that, right? So life's experiences are more valuable to me now than the bottom line of what's in the bank. But obviously you have to, there has to be some money there to enable you to do that stuff. But I no longer desire for it to be a lot of money.
I think
So
that,
yeah,
yeah, this is the message, isn't it? So a lot of us, when you get to sort of, I'm a bit older than you guys, but when we decide we're going to jump ship and go and do something else, why waste that experience? If it's going to pay the bills, we can run these things together. You can jump out and you can leverage the skills that you've hard earned for so many years to set up a sideline. Might not be exactly what you want to do, but it allows you the lifestyle that you've got, like traveling in Australia and things like that.
precisely. So if I can earn, even a third of what I used to earn, but do it on my terms, where I'm working part-time hours to fit around me and to fit around what I want to do, and just keep my toe in, great. And that enables me to have more money to spend on advertising and to build the business that I really want to be doing. Like if I could click my fingers and have the same income as I used to have in corporate world from doing fitness coaching and life coaching and other stuff, then no, I probably wouldn't do any finance related stuff. But there's a transition period where you use that knowledge and experience over time, and gradually do less and less of that as the incomes from the other stuff slowly build up.
Yeah, but you're still doing it on your terms.
Exactly. It'll be on a contracting basis. It'll be on a short-term contracts, or on a sort of consulting basis where I'm paid for my time, but I'm very clear with them. I'm going to give you whatever it is, 20 hours a week, not 60 or 70 or 80 as it used to be. I'm going to do these specific tasks only, and this is what I'm going to be there for, and that's it on my terms. And you can't. It will be work from anywhere. It won't be that's your desk. You need to be here on Monday morning. It'll be, as long as you do your 20 hours and you can evidence that, then off you go. And I'll be doing it from a beach in Bali, or from Sotogrande, or from Australia, or wherever it is I feel like being.
Yeah, I think that's, well, I think we'll say, don't we? That's one of the the plus sides, if there is one, of COVID, is it proved that it can be done. So if you work with the
Yeah,
clients that totally trust you, know your values, know that you'll get the job done, it's totally doable. Totally doable. It's about working with the right people. So
yeah,
what's next for Matt? Dare I ask?
yeah, yeah. Well, in terms of events, I'm doing my 168k race around the coast of Cornwall in January, and then I have a very exotic 6-day stage race to do in an island I'd never heard of actually, called Sao Tom, which is an African island near the equator. That's in August next year. In terms of business, so Astute Fitness is beginning to finally, now that I've jumped in with both feet, is beginning to gather some momentum. So carry on finding the right clients that I can help, whether they're training for big events or simply those more executive types who want to take control of their life like I did. And I'm also still studying towards my life coaching qualification as well. So again, particularly that part of the market, the stressed out CEOs, CFOs, directors, senior managers, the guys who are struggling to balance between work and life, with an element of fitness, but also with an element of just sort of managing your life a little better. I'll be launching an Astute coaching for more that side. So closely linked. I think there'll be a lot of crossover of clients doing both, but that will be coming pretty soon. And then other than that, it was just keeping my eye out for more coaching clients, but also keeping my eye out for more crazy events that I can sign up for and go and do myself.
Bonkers, mate. I love it. I love
Oh,
it. Go on.
and between all of that, to finish building my van and making that a bit more livable. It's currently I call it a van. It's actually, technically, it's a truck. It's that big. But yeah, currently it's a sort of a bed and a fridge and not much else. So I've got a fair bit of work to finish building that and making it a bit more livable as well.
I knew about Vanessa. Vanessa's the van, but I hadn't seen her in the flesh, so to speak, until yesterday when I pulled up into Pablo Nuevo. It's a little sleepy sort of Spanish town where we live, just where we live. And there's this thing parked on the side of the road that was casting a shadow over everything. It's like this warehouse on wheels. I'm like, "Is that your van?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah." Someone came straight up and asked if they could buy it, didn't they? Is that right? Yes.
Yeah, almost immediately after parking up there, I was just sat sorting my stuff out and working out what I needed to bring in with me for our beer and catch up. And yeah, he just came out, painted and decorated, and just said, "Oh my God, that van's amazing. Where did you get it? How much would you sell it?" And I said, "No, not at the moment. One day maybe when I've done the work and added some value to it, maybe it'll get sold. Probably if I decide to go on a whim to South America for a year or whatever it is I decide to do, then the van will become a pain. But at the moment, it's home on wheels. So, so yeah, we're not getting sold anytime soon. But yeah, I've been actually, since I've had it, I've been approached by about 5 different people asking if it's up for sale. So I've picked a good one. It seems with no knowledge whatsoever, I've managed to pick a good one.
Yeah, I'll see it, because we're going to do some cool stuff tomorrow, aren't we? We're going to we'll keep the lid on that, but we're going to get together. So I'll become a little bit more intimate with Vanessa tomorrow. So Matt, we've talked about the clients, what you do, who you serve. So where can we find you on the interweb? And tell us a little bit about that, because we also, I hope you don't mind me talking about this, we talked about maybe adding another thing in there from what's on the website already.
Yes. So currently, the website's pretty straightforward. It's just www.astute.fitness. People always ask, is that .com or .co.uk? No. .fitness is the ending. So just astute.fitness will take you there. And on Instagram, it's just at astute.fitness as well. And yeah, at the moment, so I've got 2 services currently on there. I'm always looking for more direct one-to-one coaching clients. So people who want to go and do a bit of a challenge or a bit of a race of some kind. And my speciality, more than anything, I guess, is helping people on that journey. And actually, for those who want to do it, you'll probably find, like me, you'll get the bug and you'll want to do another one and another one. So it's not just be a coach for 3 months and then people sail off into the sunset. People tend to then go, "Oh, I've done a marathon now and I did it in like my first one, 4 hours and 1 minute." So annoying. 4 hours and 1 minute. Oh, right, coach, we need to get it under 4 hours, so they carry on being a client. So that's the kind of the bread and butter service, if you like. And then also this year I launched more of a strength and conditioning specific program. And it's one area of kind of endurance stuff that people tend to not pay enough attention to, is they don't do enough strength and conditioning, which then increases their chances of injury. So I've got a really neat little 12-week program that will take you from where you are now to building a body that's much more ready to cope with the rigors of going off and doing something like a marathon or an Ironman or a triathlon or such. So that's a very much a 12-week plan that you just follow, and it will build you the strength and resilience you need to go and take on some of this stuff. But then on top of that, you're absolutely right. We were spitballing yesterday. I'm looking to build a plan that's aimed more at people like old me. That you politely called me bigger Matt. I refer to myself then as Fat Matt, just because it rhymes. Yeah, that's the sort of corporate world. Finding time and family life as well is obviously a big drain, but people who find it difficult to find the time and the knowledge and the motivation to take back control and get back to a fitter, younger version of themselves. So that will be more of a sort of time conscious, but it'll be quite a high touch service where there's a lot of interaction with me as a coach. There'll be a lot of nutrition, because 80% of those gains in that picture came from changing your diet. Exercise is key, but you won't get anywhere without really looking at diet too. So that will be a really much more holistic service of ongoing coaching, but really doing a deep dive and helping you go from picture A to picture B, but aim more at the kind of more corporate market, because those are the people who tend to have that. I've been sat behind a desk for 20 years. Then that's what it does to you. That's what it does to your body. It's nothing you've done wrong. That is what living that lifestyle will do to you, no matter how conscious you are. So yeah, that's going to be a really sort of bespoke plan for that corporate type of client to get them back to where they would quite like to be.
And can people start straight away on that? If someone's watching this and then that's me, can I get going? Can they just get in touch and get moving?
Yeah, get in touch. The plan is probably a few weeks away from being sort of launched on the website, but the knowledge is all there. That's just me doing the nuts and bolts and the behind the scenes stuff. So if someone really wants to jump in and do that journey that I've been on, just get in touch via the website or via Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and get hold of me, and we can talk it through and do it. That's just me needing to do the work behind the scenes and build the course in Kajabi.
Cool. Kajabi indeed. Kajabi, the ultimate all-in-one platform for building online courses.
Yeah.
Shameless plug for what I do. Never mind, that's what it's all about. Good stuff. Thanks, Matt. It's been absolutely brilliant. We're going to do this again because your journey just evolves on a daily basis, which I love. I mean, when I say we're going to do some stuff tomorrow, which we'll keep in the bag and get that out there, that's going to be really super cool tomorrow. But thanks for coming on the podcast, mate.
We'll have to do a van life update in a few months' time when it starts to look a bit more like a home on wheels than it currently does.
Yeah, we'll have a walkthrough of Vanessa. That'd be cool. That'd be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Brilliant.
All right, Matt. Thank you so much again. I couldn't have had a better first guest on to get the One Life podcast underway. Thank you, and we're gonna catch up tomorrow.
Brilliant. Thanks again for having me, and catch up soon.
Good stuff. Cheers, Matt. Hey, thanks for joining us. I really do appreciate it. And if you're ready to start living life on your terms, come and join us in One Life Tribe. You'll find the One Life plan, awesome community, live coaching every week, and of course, best of all, it's 100% free. Start living life in your terms today. Come and join us, onelifers.com/tribe.